friends, and welcome back to my channel. For this video, I plan to do a whole week in my life related to journaling and my routine, and I've got so many journals. If you saw my 2024 lineup video or if you've seen my post on Instagram, you know that I have a tall stack and I am just getting back into a routine now. This is my first time being home without really any huge travel plans coming up. So it's really my time to backlog, get back into routine, figure out what's actually working for me. I don't want to be premature and say that a lot of my journals are too much because my circumstances haven't really been optimal in the last month and a half, almost a month and a half. Now, when I have a travel journal is usually when things start getting a little crazy because it breaks up all of the things that I work on daily or once a week, because I'm trying to prioritize and work on the travel journal. That something is bound to get behind and put on the back burner. And then once my travel journal is done, I feel like I'm constantly playing catch up. And then another travel comes and it starts all over. I thought I'd show you what my desk looks like. I haven't actually really used my desk in the last week that I've been home. It's kind of been ready for videos. What I do is bring my roller cart to the dining table, and that's where I've been journaling. So I want to close out this week in my paper test B6. I am really loving this. I have no complaints. It is working really well for me. So I like to put appointments, events in the dated column. I do a sleep tracker, and sometimes we'll have like a to-do list. So anyways, sleep tracker, and then this is a running to-do list for the week in Allistair method. Hey guys, I thought I would give a little update, but I just finished my notebook therapy unboxing and coffee spread. I showed a few clips, but here is the final spread. It is of my Starbucks Reserve Roastery visit, and then the Traveler's Factory 𝘕𝘂𝘕𝘂𝘬𝘂, since I did have coffee there. Love the spreads and how it came out, but I always forget how long it actually takes to film. I really thought I was going to be able to unbox, film, and journal all in, I don't know, maybe an hour, but I think it's been almost 2.5 hours. I also don't usually try to do something so ambitious as to film and do a journal with me video when my kids are home, like especially on the weekends. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and clean up now. Since they're napping, part of me wants to keep journaling, but I'm hungry, so I should probably go eat instead of catching up. I had to put my journaling tote on the floor for filming. There's just never enough desk space. Who else agrees with me there? Like, it doesn't matter how big of a desk you get, it's just never enough. Here's my tote that I bring from the room to the dining table, and I'm going to go ahead and quickly catch up. This is my Kinbor weekly. Love the coffee beans. Literally only got it because of the coffee bean cover. I am actually loving this format. It's my first time being in a format that's like Hobonichi weeks. I actually have all my foodie stickers tucked in the back here of my Delphonics bag. I do not plan deco at all in any particular way in this. I really just like slap things in, and it's not to make it aesthetic or anything, it's just to have fun. So I knew going to Tokyo that my number one priority was to buy food stickers, because when I started this I barely had any, and I did just that. I bought so many. But it's funny looking through what I purchased, it feels like I did not get enough. I'm like, this won't last me if I'm using stickers every day. And the thing is like, I'm a creature of habit, so I'm eating the same things like every week. So do I need like 1,000 stickers for a certain food? At first I was writing C for coffee, but don't have any coffee pods at home, and so I've been writing my T, and it just works out that C could just mean caffeine. So that's my caffeine intake of the day. So I'm going to put this giant pancake one first. I would like to apologize for not filming. I really thought that I was just going to do something really simple and save all the random filming, and somehow I've come up with this and I love it so much, and I was like, wait, I have not been filming this entire time. I started with just this text and then this, and then realized I wanted to do like a full filled out thing, so now I'm on to the pancakes, and yeah, it's been really fun. I really like these little like food people things. It's big, it's bold, but it's light gray, so it blends in, but also fits. Okay, there you have it. I was not even expecting to do this. I just kind of wanted to fill in the blank space without having to do like a full-on journal entry. That's not really what I want to do in this journal, is like, you know, continue to write. I did in some things where I like wrote a little blurb about something, but this definitely has to take the cake now on my favorite spread. That's good matcha. Good morning, guys, and today is Tuesday, day 2 of this week in my life and my journaling hobby, obsession, fixation. I don't know. I haven't decided on like the subtitle of this video. My kids are in school now. This is usually when I'm like, okay, what content can I film? What can I catch up journaling? And this prompts me to say, because I actually saw a single story about this on Instagram last night, and it is from a dear friend, someone who is an inspiration to me in the planning community, and her name is Suhe Plan. Someone asked, like, how do you keep up with all your journals? And her answer was pretty spot on. And she was like, first of all, I have a disproportionate love for journals. And I resonated with that answer right away. And I was like, yeah, it's the only way that I can keep up with so many journals. And it's because I have such a deep, profound love for this hobby and all that I'm doing right now with it. Like making YouTube videos, like making travel journals and memory keeping, doing things for my kids, for myself, that I try to find any and every reason that I can journal more. Like making a food and beverage log journal. It just shows that I will look for any reason as long as I can continue journaling. So if you're watching this video and you've somehow stumbled upon this journaling niche and you're thinking that is an unhealthy, insane amount of journaling, yes, it is. But it has brought so much joy to my life. It has actually made me so much healthier mentally, physically. With journaling and the time that I can be creative every day, I am a better wife and a better mom. So not to get so sappy and so like, oh, journaling changed my life, but it really did. Journaling has given me friends all over the world. But anyways, I hope this video is a great insight to anyone that may stumble upon this that's not part of the journaling niche and community. And then if you are part of the journaling community, then I hope a lot of this resonates with you, that you feel seen, you feel heard. Know that you're not alone in the struggles of trying to keep up with journals, trying to have time for something that you love, and finding where it fits in your life. Now, I have to also talk about how my life right now allows me to spend most of my time doing this, what I love, making videos, journaling. I did not have this many journals in 2023 because at the beginning of the year, I saw what my day-to-day routine was and did what I could given my daily life. And at the end of 2023, I kind of bit off more than I could chew, and that's just because I think I saw and could foresee how much I could actually take on because my kids were in school and in daycare, and so I took on a lot more than what I had in 2023. I think I almost doubled my journaling stack and everything. So at the end of 2024, our life is going to change again, and we are going to move to a new duty station, and I might have to work at least a part-time job, if not a full-time job. So I already know that my journaling and planning life is going to change drastically for 2025. So I'm kind of just enjoying the ride this year and kind of pouring myself into the journaling community and journaling hobby and see what comes out of it. And when I get to that point of my life changing and my hobby changing, and not my hobby changing, but like the time I can allot to my hobby, when that changes, I will deal with it then. So I finished yesterday's entry and I'm still in the writing mood. I think I could do today's entry, or at the minimum just set up the daily pages. I did some test spreads in the back. I talked about it in my video about my paper test design book, and so I figured out that I really like doing columns. I did a test spread here about just writing the length of the page, and I was actually able to fit more writing if I did the columns. So I've been doing the columns ever since, and I really like it. It just takes a little bit of prep work, so I will do that now. To make it easier for me, and because it is the same spacing every week, I marked it on my ruler here where the dividing line should be. So I just kind of line it up here, make my 2 lines quickly, and then I just draw in pencil, and I actually go back and erase these pencil lines once I'm done writing. And then as for deco, I will deco after I put in my header stickers for the days of the week. and I will also show you about that. When it comes to daily pages, I'm very, ever since my Pinterest bullet journal days, I am very calculated. I like to plan out the entire bullet journal if I can. In those journals that were dot grid, 160 pages or 192 pages, I would quite literally divide the entire year or 6 months to fit in the book. And it was really hard because if you ever needed extra space, I would either force myself to fit it in there or I just wouldn't write extra because I didn't have any extra pages. Every single page was accounted for. And I'm still the same way now, except I'm a little bit more lenient and forgiving of myself. I think it helps that I have so many journals specific for a certain thing. Like this journal is for my dailies. I accepted that I want a certain look, so I've got to fit all that I want to write in the space provided. But what I did was, this is going to sound insane, but I think everyone here, has been there, done that, or would do the same. What I did was count how many boxes per column and then divided it all over, the 6 pages, divided by the 7 days. And how it worked out was that I made this layout here of where the start of the day should fall. So Monday will fall on the first, box grid of that column, and it just kind of falls in line there. So today is the 12th. These stickers I got from AliExpress. You can also find them on Amazon. They are dated, but not with a year. So it just says February 12, and you can use it whenever. There's also a spot where you can circle if you want to, what day of the week it is: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I love that it's a Monday start. So I will put this here, and this kind of like starts it off and kicks it off. I started this reference page at the beginning of this journal. If I really want to shortcut it, I will just actually follow the previous week. So I will just like kind of fold it over like this, see which dot grid is supposed to start. That's Monday. This is where Tuesday is on the second column, and that's kind of my quick hand way. But to fully explain this, I will find Tuesday and I will count from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. On the 12th box is when Tuesday should start. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds so like calculated, and it is, but it's just how I was able to calculate each day getting the exact same amount of writing space. Okay, so what I just finished working on was catching up with finishing any headers and text for my 𝘎𝘠 𝘠𝘵. I'm all caught up. I try to do these on the weekend, so next Saturday, Sunday will include Sunday, today, Monday, all the way through the next weekend. And then I actually caught up in my index, I guess I'll call it, and just writing down a few words about what the photo days are of. This Hobonichi is getting really chunky really fast. I imagine it's going to be a monster of a journal by the end of it. I tried to avoid sticking anything in the spine, but I do have a lot of things that are pretty close. I've just got one tip in, which is at the very beginning, but I'm not too worried about it, even if it chunks up and bust open. When we get to that problem, we get to that problem. But for now, I'm going to keep going and actually really excited to chunk this guy up. I think I am going to prioritize this now because it is fully overdue. That way I'm not behind 2 weeks. So yeah, gonna work on this now actually.
It's half of the ND paper cream blank 64 pages, and it's still the same paper type. It's a bit harder to find.
Hey guys, it is Wednesday and it's already about 3 p.m. and I haven't written or touched any of my journals. I just woke up today not feeling the best, feeling really lethargic and tired. A lot of the times I do have some inspiration and motivation to journal, but every day it's really just down to discipline to open up my journals every day, write something, whether it's to plan to get closer to my goals for this year or really just to let out some emotion and thoughts, help to process my thoughts better. But that discipline for showing up for myself every single day is what gets me to really have a good relationship with journaling and a daily habit where it's just part of my routine and my life. But today is one of those days where I can't really imagine and see where journaling fits in today. I don't really have any motivation to write. I don't even know what to write. My mind's kind of empty, but I will see if anything comes to mind when I sit down now. I am a huge proponent of, even if you have nothing to say, still write something, even if those words are, I just don't feel like journaling today and this is today's entry, period. And just leave it at that, because sometimes you'll be surprised at how much more comes out of your hand and your mind when you start writing those things. Good morning. It is actually Wednesday, finally. I didn't realize I was getting my dates wrong the entire beginning of this video, but I finally figured it out that today's Wednesday. But I am feeling a little better today, and I think I just need to get out of that couch potato environment, not hanging out on the couch in the dining area. I think journaling at my desk today, with my things being pretty neat and organized right now and having a nice bright day outside with a lot of sun, will be great. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Allistair method, and really this section here is the only planning that I really do. Everything else is journaling, is kind of scrapbooking, is collaging. Everything else is creative. These 2 pages here are really the only places where it's pure function, pen and paper. I will do a washi of the week, but that is as much deco as I do, and this is really the most planning and functional area that you're going to see in all of my journals. So I don't actually call any of my other journals or anything a planner. I will sometimes call this my planner because it has my planning layout, and it is where I put things for the month, but other than that, there's really not much planning in my life. But this Allistair method has really helped me be a lot more organized with habits, with tasks around the house. And I'm going to read a definition for the Allistair method. And the Allistair method is a tool for managing your workload by helping you organize short-term tasks and long-term goals. The core concept is to create a list of tasks or events that you can attribute to every week, month, or year. You can put the task in any order that you like, and there's no defined chronology. It is a form of future planning that works on the principles of bullet journaling but focuses heavily on presentation to deliver excellent results in business and more. So for me, I really enjoy the Allistair method because it doesn't focus on a specific day. I do set an intention for what day I want to accomplish it, but I much prefer this because before I was applying certain tasks to a certain day, and a lot of the times, almost 100% of the time, I wasn't getting to that task, and having to migrate a task over several days just felt really defeating. It felt like, honestly, like I was incompetent sometimes. Like, how could I not complete these simple tasks this day? Life gets busy, and although we know we're doing other things that we aren't writing down on the list, it can get really discouraging to not complete a task and be able to cross it off. There is just so much satisfaction to get to cross off and check something off your list. A lot of the times I will write things down that I already completed just to see the length of my list, to be able to cross it out afterwards. It's just really satisfying. A lot of the times you just kind of need to see things on paper to feel accomplished. And it's a double-edged sword because we are more than just our productivity, but at the same time, we crave for that sense of accomplishment every single day. It can feel really fulfilling when you get to mark something off. So it's been a couple days since I've marked off what actually got done, so I will update that later. But the way I use the Allistair method is the top and middle section, I always transfer week to week the same exact task. The very top is going to be personal tasks. For me, I have vitamins, dental care, skincare, water, and walk outside. Then the middle is dedicated to my family or to the house. So family meeting, I try to talk with my husband about any appointments, anything that needs to get done, maybe things specific for our kids' school. Then there's kids dental care, kids vitamin, PM tidy, clear table, empty sink, and then either vacuum sweep or mop. And so I do mark it with a dot of my intention of when I want to get that task done. And then for me, this has really helped me with accepting that things need to get migrated, things might not get done, and it's okay when some tasks only get done once that week versus trying to really focus on the daily. This view and this method has really helped me to see the week as a whole, and that each day builds up to the full week instead of just each singular day. This allows me to push things when I'm not feeling the best to the next day and see the entire week as my chance to get that thing done instead of, oh, I failed Monday and then I failed again on Tuesday. Instead, it's like, okay, Monday and Tuesday didn't work out. I still have 4 or 5 more days to reach this task to accomplishment, and I have more chances for myself. The Allistair method has really helped me to have a more positive relationship with task-oriented things, with planning, and things like that. So I just really wanted to talk about that because I've mentioned it before to some friends in the past on Instagram, and I usually am met with people who understand my position and who have been in my shoes before, where it can get a little discouraging when you aren't able to complete tasks, and it can feel almost counterintuitive because our planners are supposed to serve us and not us serve the planners. The planners are supposed to help us get to our goals, and if not being able to cross tasks off makes us feel like we're not reaching our goals, then there's something wrong there. And so me switching to the Allistair method has really helped me have a more positive relationship with planning, with goal setting, and with getting tasks done. So I'm going to go ahead and update what has happened and what I've actually been able to do. It's funny because a lot of these tasks are things that we should do every day, but when I get back to my planner and open this page, it'll remind myself, okay, yeah, I know I need to take my vitamins, but I will actually do it because I really want to cross this task off for the day, and it will actually set me forth on a better mindset to get up and go do my vitamins, stop procrastinating on it. Some things sound silly to mark down, like water intake, dental care, or skincare, but although they should be everyday habits, it's really easy to push aside your own self-care. And so I've been a lot better when I get to check these things off. And if I don't, then I can be like, okay, hey, I need to stop everything else. I need to stop journaling. I need to stop watching TV. I need to stop, I can pause for 5 minutes from making dinner to go drink some extra water or to remind myself to do said task. Okay, so I wrote a little bit. I'm going to save the rest of the space for the rest of the day, but I do want to decorate, and I already have some things in mind, and it is of a couple. So this side here, and I love this one. It is still winter. She's standing on a box, so it kind of works for Valentine's Day. She has a heart up there, and I think I'll use a couple of these. I want to save one for my Travelers Company vertical spread as well. So maybe I'll save my favorite one for that vertical spread, and then I'll use the other couple ones for this spread. Pink E, which works out because then none of the bears are the same color as well. Makes it hard for them to stand out if they are all the same. Is that straight? I feel like it's getting crooked. And I am using my 𝘕𝘯 Sakura Sailor Pro Gear, and it is inked with Sailor Sakura Mori. And I will leave it at that. And for the next page, I think I will wait. Like that. I think I'm just going to use my foolproof method of using large deco to have less writing space. And although I am cutting myself off for things I don't know that's about to happen. I might want to write some things here. I do love this page from my tearaway calendar, so we're going to use it and just have to be very selective with what I write. That's plenty of space. I've put it to the bottom as much as I can, and we'll still have some writing space there. So a lot of my journals are a little bit repetitive between my daily journal, my weekly vertical, my photo a day Hobonichi, and then I have my 5-year diary, which I haven't had the chance to show here yet. I will share some of my doodles afterwards. But I am okay with being a little bit repetitive, just because after the fact, in viewing a lot of these things once they're done, they're not going to be viewed and read back at the same time. I think what's great about this photo a day one is photos and just seeing how much a year can change and how much happens. And then the weekly vertical, I have really yet to look back. The weekly vertical for me is just a really fun place to use my stickers, make collages, experiment with different styles while memory keeping. I will put usually what we do that day. It's less so about my thoughts and emotions and what's going on in my head, and more about what are we actually doing as a family, what am I doing, how are things going. And then my daily journal entries is where it's can be about anything. It can, if I don't really have any thoughts to process or anything I want to say more on the emotional side, I will just be a matter of fact and say we did this today, did that. Sometimes I'll write about one of my children if one of them's going through a particularly hard time. Like some of my entries the last couple days have been about my son's sleep regression and how that's affecting the family, and sometimes it's just about my husband and I. So that's where the daily journal is really personal. If there was something that I really wanted to share with family and friends, it would be things like my photo a day or my travel journals. Things that are personal to me would probably be these two. The weekly vertical just being that fun creative outlet for me to use my stickers and deco while still being something that is friendly and exciting for others to read in the future. Let's say if my kids ever really wanted to look into my journals. My daily, while I don't mind anyone to read it, is really an inside look of what's going on in my head, what personal experiences am I going through. And then I really wanted to start a 5-year journal, especially this year, because of how much is going to happen in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years, it's going to include my family and I moving out of Italy to a next duty station. It's also going to include us moving another 2 duty stations. Most of the time, duty stations are every 3 years. So if we are moving in 2024, then you add 1, 2, 3 years, and we will already be moving by the end of 2027, 2028. So it's really going to be interesting to see our military life in this 5-year journal. Now, my intention for this was to be a doodle journal that corresponded with my daily journal. So my thought process before starting this was that I would refer to my daily entry and then doodle whatever I could about that entry. And then I would just write some bullet points here to kind of explain the doodles. And it was really fun in the beginning, but January, as I kind of said in the beginning, has not been ideal in terms of creating a journal routine because of how much travel I've been doing. And while I love the travel, it does not help with keeping up with so many journals. And so I've really considered the past few days to not continue the doodling. I actually sat and did, let's see, I did the 20th to the 31st in one sitting. And that made me not want to doodle anymore for a few days when I normally am not a doodler. So that was really hard. That took a lot of energy for me to really think of what to even draw, let alone figure out how I was going to draw it. You can see in the beginning of that drawing session, I was really detailed. I was really excited to get into it. And as the doodles go on in this singular session, it just got a little more lazy, and I don't want that for myself. I don't want to look back on that. I'm really thinking about not continuing for the month of February, or maybe just accept these last 14 days as a loss. Go in and just do the bullet points here, and then just continue doodling on the 14th for today. It honestly paralyzes me because I don't like the idea of not being consistent. I don't like the idea of empty blank pages when I intended to do something. I knew at the end of 2023, I knew there was likely going to be something I was going to fall behind with, and I also knew it was probably going to be this journal. I just did not realize it was going to be not because I didn't want to draw, but because I had too much to backlog, and that was solely because I didn't bring this with me to Japan. Now I wish I did. Now I kind of know for the future that this is something I need to prioritize, where I don't need to bring my weekly vertical because this feels like home to me. I am so easily able to create a spread and fill it out because it's comforting to me, whereas this is new and challenging, and it is too much of a challenge when you have so much to backlog. So I am learning some things there, and I hope this could be a lesson for you as well. Maybe some introspection on your own journals and whatever is new in your lineup for you. I did get a suggestion to do just 2 a day. So I could do today's doodle and the 1st. And then tomorrow I'll do the 15th and the 2nd. And while that is the most logical and practical, I'm also impatient, which is why I did the 12 something days of doodling in one sitting, because I just want it done. I just want it done now. But this comes to the talk about discipline again, and motivation and inspiration. Sometimes you just have to stop yourself from these impulses of like, okay, I'm just going to fill everything in. But then that hurts you in the end with your journal, with the relationship of your journal, with the motivation and inspiration. And so I think this is a moment where I need to be logical and strategic about it. That answer of doing a current day with one backlog day is really the most beneficial to fulfill my goal of this being a doodle journal, not burning myself out with too many doodles. So I just might have to take Amanda Aligned Musings. So if you're watching this, Amanda, thank you, and I will really have to push myself to do that. Hey friends, I just finished filming a little reel for Instagram. It was pretty spur of the moment, but I was feeling, I guess, festive with some of the posts I was seeing. So I decided to film something really quickly, but I did some swatches of all the pinks that I own, and here is how it turned out. I was most nervous about lettering Happy Valentine's Day because that was the final touch, and it could have gone horribly wrong with my lettering and pretty much messed up Happy Valentine's Day heart swatches in my Midori One Day One Page. One thing is that it does show on the other side and pretty much ruins with the look of this spread, but that's quite all right. That's what happens. Well, friends, I can't believe we've completed a full week of looking into my journaling life. I think that's what I've come to call this video, a week in my journaling life. And journaling is definitely a huge part of my life. It definitely consumes a lot, if not all, of my free time. This week has truly been eye-opening for me. I've realized that I think discipline might be the word that surrounds my year, if not just like my journaling hobby this year, because I've really taken on so many journals for this year and I love every single one of them. I will do a mid-year 𝘎𝘬𝘰𝘯 and see if all of these journals really have lasted that long. A questionable one is my 5-year, but I am currently working on it. I want it to be something to really look back on, and that's something that motivation and inspiration won't take you all the way. It really comes down to discipline. Something like a 5-year journal needs that discipline, showing up for yourself every day, even if you don't want to. It doesn't even have to be every day. It could be every week where you backlog, but it's important to set a routine in some of the things that we really want to accomplish and fulfill at its end period, whether that's a 5-year journal, so at the end of 5 years. So this week really did show how much discipline plays into it. And I'm saying the word a lot because I want it to really come across. You don't need motivation and inspiration every single day, and you're not going to have it. You're not going to wake up motivated and inspired every single day. So for me, what that looks like is I might not do any creative journaling, like playing with stickers, using papers and ephemera, using washi tapes and pet tapes. What the discipline might look like is just writing, pen and paper. And that's where truly all the magic really happens, because at the end of a year, when you're looking back and when you're getting that chance to archive something that you've finished, or maybe you haven't finished, you can archive things that aren't finished either. The magic is where you do put pen to paper. So I hope this was eye-opening for you as well. Maybe you had some introspective moments and reflected on your journaling stack and your journaling routine. This was definitely an interesting video. This was honestly an exhausting video. I don't know when another one of these will come around, maybe when my planner lineup is different. For the most part, as long as it is the same as it is right now, this is pretty much my routine. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below of this, a week in my journaling life. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.